This is the brand new ENGWE X Series X20 all-terrain e-bike, and honestly, this thing feels less like a bike that happens to have a motor and more like a motorcycle that happens to have pedals. And I'll explain more about why that is in a few minutes. This is a folding fat tire bike with 20-inch diameter, 4-inch wide tires on solid one-piece wheels, which are not only super tough, but also completely maintenance-free. There's 7-inch hydraulic disc brakes on the front and the back that provide plenty of stopping power. There's a Shimano 8-speed derailleur on the back and a pretty large single front gear. It is geared for higher speeds, but you can still easily conquer any hills that you want with the assistance of the 1,000-watt peak power brushless gear hub motor. The motor not only climbs hills, but it also allows you to reach a top speed of 31 miles per hour, while dual batteries provide up to 50 miles of range when just running on the electric power, which means you're not doing any of the pedaling, you're just letting the motor do all of the work. You can go 50 miles. Of course, if you are pedaling, that can extend the range up to 124 miles. When the bike is folded in half, you can see one of the batteries here inside the frame, and then the second battery is actually built into the seat post. The fact that they made the entire seat post into a battery is a really smart use of space. I also like this big, thick, diamond-shaped seat post. That way, the seat can't rotate. Having to get off and realign your seat's always a pain, but with this being a diamond shape, it can't rotate, so that's never going to be a problem with this bike. Wherever you set it is where it's going to stay. This has front fork hydraulic shocks, and then there's also a single mechanical shock in the middle and dual air shocks in the back. It has pedal assist, so the motor will engage when you start pedaling. There's also a throttle by your left thumb here, so you can manually adjust the motor speed. This panel on the handlebars here displays the battery level, your speed, total distance the bike has been ridden, your current trip distance, trip time, max speed, average speed, how many watts of power the motor is currently drawing, and the different riding modes and speed settings, which sounds like a lot, but they've really simplified the interface so it's easy to understand even at a glance. And this is a really nice bright display that you can see even in direct sunlight. I really like that they put these height markers on the back of the seat. That way if somebody else rides your bike and changes the height of the seat, you can just know what your number is and quickly set it back. This bike is a lot of fun to ride. It's got plenty of power for going up hills, and it's good for street riding or off-roading. So now here's why I think this bike actually feels more like a motorcycle and less like a bicycle, which may end up being a pro or a con just depending on what your needs are and what you want to do with the bike. For starters, this bike weighs 92 pounds. Every part of this bike is really bulky and heavy. They didn't try to cut down on weight anywhere. This thing is built really solid. Going down the road, it has a lot of its own mass and momentum, so it's not going to be nearly as agile as your typical 30-pound mountain bike. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just a different riding experience. It's actually really enjoyable. The pedal assist on this particular e-bike is also a little different than what I'm used to. With other e-bikes that I've ridden, the pedal assist will detect how fast you're pedaling, and then the motor will match that speed. So if you're pedaling slow, the motor's going slow. If you're pedaling fast, the motor will speed up. But with this bike, the pedal assist has different target speeds that you can adjust, and then the motor will get you up to that speed and maintain that speed regardless of how fast you're pedaling. So right now, I have it set to level 2, and when I start pedaling, the motor will engage and slowly accelerate until I'm up to about 6 miles an hour. And now it's going to keep going 6 miles an hour even without me putting in any effort. I do have to keep rotating the pedals so it knows that I want to go forward, but I'm really doing 0 effort here, and it's going to stay at that speed. And if I want to go faster, I either have to start doing some of the work and pedal harder, or I can just turn up the pedal assist levels. So it seems like it just kind of prioritizes the motor doing all of the work, and then you can kind of pedal if you feel like it. And it's going to increase that target speed that it's wanting to run at. So if I go up to level 3, now it's going 9 miles an hour, and then I can go all the way up to level 5, and it'll be going 30 miles an hour. And again, I'm just kind of pedaling the same speed, and it's speeding up just depending on those different levels that I set the pedal assist to. The seat has a faux leather cover, and the handle grips have what almost look like real leather on them. I can't be for certain, they might be fake, but they do feel really nice. And they have this kind of ergonomic shape to them. All the cables and wires on this bike run on the outside of the frame, so you have a big group of them here running up to the handlebars, and then they run along the bottom side of the frame here, which is all pretty standard for an e-bike. I really like that the 2-battery design provides so much power and travel distance. The one downside to this setup though is that you actually have to charge both of the batteries separately. So there's a charging port right here on the side of the frame to charge one battery, and another charging port on the back of the seat post to charge the other battery. This bike is capable of running at its peak wattage just using one of the batteries. So you do have the added advantage of being able to run the bike just using one of the batteries, and then when that one runs low, you can hit this button right here to turn on the second battery. And that way you know that you have enough battery to get you home. It does show the battery percentage on the display, but that's pretty easy to overlook. So if you just use one of the batteries at a time, you'll be sure to never run out of battery. There is a little passenger seat here on the back, but this is really awkward to sit on with the seat in front of you here, and then the person who's riding the bike in front of you is going to hit you in the knees with the pedals when those come around. Also, there isn't any foot pegs. There are some holes here, so I'm sure you can buy some and hook them on, but it doesn't come with them stock. So I wouldn't buy this bike with the intention of having anybody riding on the back very often, especially not adults. This might be fine for kids. However, if you do take this seat cover off, this back part here does make into a perfectly fine bike rack that could be very useful. When you're folding up the bike, the handlebars can fold down, and then this latch in the middle allows the entire bike to fold in half. And the pedals can fold up as well. But this thing still weighs 92 pounds, and having it all folded up doesn't really make it any easier to put into the back of your car. At least it takes up a little bit less space in your garage when you're not using it. This does have a brake light as well as a tail light and a headlight, and they even come on automatically when it gets dark outside. This is a brand new product, so if you would like to get in on their limited time early bird prices or sign up for their giveaway, click on the link in the description below. You can check out some more of my videos over here, and I'll see you in the next one.